Good evening, guys. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. This is Graham and Josh. We are Dog Sports Live, and we are looking at the defensive back play from the G-Day. Just judging by my Twitter, there's a lot of people jonesing for some football. I can't wait. I know we've got a lot invested emotionally and otherwise in this season. So we're going to go back through the G-Day tape and let's put some plays down and break it down. Some good, some bad, some not so good, some really ugly. But today and tonight we're talking about the defensive backs. And, we had an awesome little roundtable with Jeremy and Michael Brockstein. And Michael brought up an interesting point, a.k.a. Senator Blutarski, that it's possible that we didn't see our defensive back or secondary on G-Day. There's some players. Tyke Smith, for one, had committed, has not enrolled, was not there on G-Day, but will be there for summer and fall camp. And Graham, you're hearing some things that maybe we could be adding some more veteran help to the defensive backs.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna look at the DB play from G-Day tonight on the show, and I mean, I think that it's pretty obvious that there's a lot of need in the secondary for Georgia. I mean, granted, it's a spring game, and these guys are young, and for some of them, these are the first live college reps they've ever seen. But with the offense that Georgia has, like Georgia has a national title caliber offense, but the defense in the front seven is really strong. We know there's a lot of solid returners there, but in the secondary, there's holes, and Georgia needs help. And Kirby Smart's not a stupid dude. With the new rule changes, with the transfer rule coming into place where you can transfer one time penalty free. I think that you're going to see some guys come in. I know that Jadarius Perkins is in the transfer portal right now. He was at Missouri just for spring practice. He came in as an early enrollee out of JUCO, but he was I believe the number 3 rated JUCO DB last year. Talking about a guy that's
now. Did he enroll this spring and already in the portal? Okay, so he's portaling
3 months and out. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he got to Columbia and was like, "I'm not about this life, I guess." But yeah, I mean, you're looking at a guy that's 6'2" with 4.4 speed, and that's what you want in a modern corner, especially with these receivers getting taller and bigger. I do know that Georgia has shown interest in him. We know for a fact that Georgia's offered. I saw a report from 24/7 this weekend that he was trending towards UCF. I have some intel and reason to believe that that's not correct, and that Georgia's very much still in the race there. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of like how this comes down, because Florida, I believe, also needs secondary help, and I'm sure they're going after it as well. So it's going to be very, very fascinating to see kind of how this all shakes loose with the transfer portal, because we know there's guys in the portal like Perkins. We also know Darion Kendrick from Clemson is in the portal. It looked like he was probably coming to Georgia, and then he got arrested. He was sleeping in his car, had a gun on him. It looks like, from what I've been told, those charges are going to be dropped, and if they are dropped, I think that Georgia will probably jump on that and try to bring him in. But, nothing's final until it happens. This is college football. We're dealing with young kids who can, change their mind at the drop of a hat. But I'll put it this way. I would be surprised if we didn't end up with one of at least Perkins or Kendrick, and I wouldn't be surprised if we ended up with both of them. We'll kind of leave it there.
Definitely the new era of college football, with one-time transfer rule and some things open up for the players to pick their spots. And and Georgia's got some spots that are available. So I think that Kirby's always said he's going to play the best guys he's got, and whether how many stars you got by your name or whatever. So we've got some young guys that we've documented on all over the place at how many snaps we've lost from the defensive back play last year, and here's where we are. So, but going back to
one other thing I want to add real quick before we get into the film review, and this is another piece of news that and I don't know if this is correct or not, but there's some speculation out there on some of the 24/7 sports sites that Justin Ross, the stud wide receiver at Clemson, is going to transfer. And I'm not sure where, not sure why. I literally, am just seeing this kind of come across in some direct messages at the moment. But apparently that's in the cards. Again, nothing's ever final till it's final. These are 19, 20, 18-year-old kids. But if that does happen, then that would give us a little less cause for concern with the secondary, because he's by far the best receiver on Clemson's roster. And right now, straight up, we don't have anyone at defensive back that's going to be able to hang with him. So if he was to leave, that would be great for Georgia.
Yeah, it's a greedy business for sure. Okay, so let's talk about the players we definitely know of, and let's look at the G-Day game. We want to start with Jalen Kimber, right?
Yeah, let's look at Kimber. I mean, I think Kimber's an interesting one to watch because we heard a lot, out of spring that he was probably the guy that was performing the best. That first play you're showing here, like, he did this all day where he got caught backpedaling at the snap. And
you can see him at the top. You can see him at the top of screen number 6 here. He's playing off, and he immediately breaks back. He goes off the screen, and just JT finds the soft spot and picks him off for a 9-yard gain, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I feel like with him, we saw it a lot, and we're gonna we'll show it as we go through some more of these clips. But there are certain moments where he gets up on the line and he doesn't give a bunch of cushion, and he plays really well. There's other moments where he backpedals at the snap, or he's given 8 yards of cushion, just lined up before the play even starts. And it's just, with a quarterback like JT Daniels and receivers that are as savvy as what Georgia has, where everything is kind of an option route in the Todd Monken offense, like, they're going to pick that apart all day. So let's look at
here's at the bottom of the screen, lined up on Mitchell.
Yeah, so number 6 at the bottom of the screen with the towel hanging out of his back. He does a good job here. He gets his hands into Mitchell's arms when the ball's delivered. I mean, that probably is a catch on certain plays, but like, he's there to make the play. He gets in there. It's a good job of sticking to his man in coverage. Like, I think, this is a decent piece of work from him. So, let's go to the next one.
All right.
Yeah, and so this is the deep shot to Mitchell, and I think JT's just going to throw this away, but he's throwing it away and out the back of the end zone because Kimber does a good job in coverage, and Mitchell's where he wanted to go with that ball, and Kimber hung with him and didn't let him get out there. Unfortunately, with the camera angle, we don't get great.
As soon as he cuts to him, he's all over him. He takes it back to him. He knows it. He knows the route. He knows he's not going underneath, and he sticks with him and plays it. He's right there, and it's a throwaway. Exactly.
Yeah, so good job there. Doesn't let himself get beat. And then this next play here, we're in the second half, and he does a really good job with press coverage on Fitzpatrick. And so, this is my thing with him. When he's lined up on a tight end, it's like he trusts his speed enough to not line up with all that cushion, and he gets in there and he gets into Fitzpatrick's body, and it's like that's great coverage. I mean, that is, if he's doing stuff like that all day long, he's a lockdown corner. And he's up in there. He doesn't give too much. He goes right into the back pedal right at the snap. He doesn't turn his back to JT, and he plays that inside leverage technique and forces Fitzpatrick up the sideline. So really good job by him there. And then the very next play, we're going to see him give that cushion again. He's got that 5-yard cushion. He's not playing inside technique. He doesn't have any leverage on Mitchell on the inside. And you see at the bottom of the screen, it's just an easy slant route. He barely ever gets his hands on Mitchell at the top of that break.
Yep.
So, yeah. And so this one I want to preface by saying I think this is a zone by the way the defense is playing, but Kimber's got to understand his assignments a little better. Brinny lets go of D-Rob, I believe that's catching the pass. He lets go of him on that little circle route to the sideline. But if you see that, I think that they show another angle of this play. Where Kimber is on the field, there's just not another receiver on that half of the field, and he's all the way over here.
Yeah, there it
You
is.
know,
Who's he guarding?
exactly. Yeah, he's not guarding anybody, and it's like technically he's obviously in some form of cover two, where he's playing a deep sort of safety type of spot. But he has to be looking at the quarterback. He has to be looking at what's unfolding, and like JT is staring that throw down the entire time, and a guy like LeCount, maybe, or some of the guys that we know that are ball hawks on Georgia's roster in college football, they're watching that play and they're baiting Daniels into throwing that ball, and then they're breaking on it, and they're either taking it the other way for 6, or they're breaking it up. But it's just like he's never in position on that play. So I just yeah, that one's frustrating. Yeah. So, and then this one, yeah, we've got I think he's responsible for the shallow zone here, judging by the zone depth.
He just gets run off. He's out of the play.
Right, exactly. And it's like, again, I think Georgia's defense as a whole needs a lot of work in these kind of cover 2 situations. But it's like, he's already lined up in front of Priestley, who's the outside receiver. We know there's no one else like further out on that side of the field, and he's just way too deep and far into the middle of the field to make a play. So, kind of to summarize, like, I think Kimber has some great tools as an athlete, but he seemed to really struggle with his kind of situational field awareness at times on G-Day. And then there's times where you see why he's a blue chip recruit and all that. And like, I don't want to be too hard on him because he's a young guy, right? And like he's learning, and this is part of why you have spring games, is to see this stuff, and the coaching staff will work on it for the next 6 months.
Well, I mean, I know we talked about last year that maybe like because he didn't have a quarterback that could make these plays and pick you apart, that some of our defensive back play wasn't tested in practice. And I mean, you better believe going against JT Daniels and our wide receiver, even without Pickens, that Kimber's getting tested every day. And we've heard it all over Twitter, and iron sharpens iron. And he's going to be, maybe he's challenged more by our wide receivers than he's going to be in a game, and he'll be ready and can improve. I think that what coaches always say is you just got to get better. You just got to get better. And right. We picked him apart right there, but I mean, heck, if we can do it, I'm sure the coaches can too, and he can probably get coached up and be better. And maybe he's not our starting cornerback, but he will be dependent upon to make plays. And hopefully he's got some technique that he can improve on.
Yeah, I mean, Georgia needs him to be able to play some snaps and some big situations for the football team to be successful this year. So again, I think he has all the tools. I think it's just, it's going to take him some time to really get that kind of savvy level that you see in some more veteran defensive backs.
All right, we got Kelee.
Let's look at Ringo.
Let's look at Ringo. All right,
So I mean, Ringo, obviously, like we've talked about. I mean, all-world recruit, every physical skill you could ever want. Right here, he gets caught on an aggressive backpedal at the top of the screen, number 5. He ends up making the tackle on the play. And I mean, on a third down play, that's a great play because you're keeping the guy in front of you. But I mean, he's lined up on, I'm not sure who he's lined up on, honestly. I'm not sure which receiver that is, but I don't think it's that shouldn't be a receiver that he's worried about getting burned deep on. I mean,
right? Yeah, even before the ball snapped, he's backpedaling, and that just gives enough cushion for who is that? I'm not sure who that is. Is that Vandegrift, or who is that?
That's Beck throwing
Beck.
It,
okay, yeah. And so that's all he needed, and he executed.
Right. So I mean, it's just it's he is a guy that, like, if there's anyone on this team that should be up in press coverage, using his height, using his speed, it's him. So here we've got a ton of cushion again on a receiver, and he's on, I think he's lined up against like a former quarterback or something. He's on a receiver that has zero chance of burning him, and he's giving him 6, 7, 8 yards of cushion the entire play
on a 5 on a 2nd and 5. I mean,
on a 5-yard in route. And so to make matters worse, he also takes a bad angle in pursuit, and it becomes a chunk play instead of just making an easy tackle. But yeah, I mean, 25 is Peterson. I've never heard of Peterson until like right now. So yeah, that's that. But here, the very next play, he shows that he learned something. He gets up on the line to cover Darnell Washington, and or wait, no, I'm sorry. I think we missed one, but
Okay.
all good. Do you have the play after that?
I think so. Yeah, here it is.
One that we should. Okay.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
him under. All right.
I don't know. Whatever. All good. Yeah. So, and then I think, let's show that little dump off to this play right here. So, I mean, he's back on that same guy, and he doesn't give him any cushion, and because of that, the ball gets forced outside to Edwards on a 4th and 9 play. It gets dumped off to a running back, which is obviously not what the offense wants, and he does a good job. He lets the sideline be his friend. Yeah, he gets off his man, and that's turnover. So I think he learned throughout the game. I mean, I'll put it this way, like with Ringo, it's hard with the camera angles that we have at our disposal to break down some of this DB play because we only get a small snapshot of the field. But like from what I saw, I watched every play of this game many times. Like he was in the right position a lot. Like you didn't hear his name called a lot, and there wasn't a lot of balls thrown on him because he was kind of doing the right things. But again, young guy, he's had about a month of live college football snaps, and it's just going to take time for him to get in that groove.
All right, we got Amir Speed, who's one of our veterans we're going to be leaning on to lead our defensive back play. So let's see here. We got 2.
So here he's going to struggle in run support. I also want you guys to see the pancake block that Fitzpatrick puts on Nolan Smith at the bottom of the line. Boom, dude. Absolutely. Look at this. 86, hand on the dirt, bottom of the line. Nolan Smith, freak athlete. And he absolutely drives him 5 yards down the field.
Where's Speed
here? So Speed is right behind Smith, number 9.
Yep, there he is.
And he just does not do a very good job of filling that hole. Doesn't really look like he wants to get in with those guys. I mean, he's a defensive back. It is what it is, but it could be better. All right, so here we're going to see a really good job by Speed on a ball that is going to be caught, but it's going to be caught out of bounds. So, he does a really nice job of sticking on D-Rob and then putting hands on him on his break and messing with the timing of that route. And that's why it's ultimately an incomplete pass. Daniels is so good that he can put that ball into that window, but not many college quarterbacks are going to even try that throw. So good job by him there. And then, we've got him on Mitchell here at the bottom of the screen, and he's just gonna basically body him up, get himself into Mitchell's hip pocket, and keep him from making a clean break to the outside. And it's gonna throw off the timing of that pass from Daniels, and it's gonna be incomplete. So I mean, with Speed, he definitely does a really good job in those more physical situations. And then here we're going to see him go step for step with Adonai Mitchell on a deep ball. And what I like about this is he does not panic when the ball is delivered. He gets his head around, sees the ball coming, and he just puts his hand in there and breaks it up. And again, he's playing this coverage tight, and he's not giving Mitchell a ton of room to work off the line. He forces him into the boundary, and that's going to take an all-world throw from Daniels with those angles. So good job. I thought he probably had the best game of any of the defensive backs, honestly, from what I saw.
All right, and we got Bullard coming up. You want to go right into Bullard?
Yeah, let's do it.
Jayvon Bullard here.
Yeah, so I mean, he's a smaller guy, younger guy. He's not going to hit stick anyone, obviously, but I think he did a really good job of reading run right here and sticking his nose into Edwards, and helping out with that play. I mean, I think with these young defensive backs, what you want to see is that they're processing and that they're aware of what's going on the field, and he does a good job of reading run and getting up in there. So, yeah. So here we're gonna see him.
What number is he? Tell us. So just
he's number 22.
Okay, he's number 22, and he's lined up at the top. At the nope, underneath.
No, oh yeah, that's Kimber.
It might have been that Kimber play we missed. Here we go.
Yeah, all good. No worries. Yeah, so here he's at the top of the screen. I believe he's at the top of the screen. Carroll's at the bottom.
No, 22 is down.
He's 22 right here in the middle on the slot receiver. Yeah. All right, so what? He's going to backpedal because he's so scared of getting beat deep that he's going to backpedal and just let Brock Bowers run free here on the zone. And, like, yeah, he's playing zone, but, like, he's got to play
somebody.
Man,
he's not playing anybody there.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it's like, I think these young guys are too afraid of being out of position, but it's like, that amount of depth. It's what we saw with Georgia's defense against like Mississippi State. And if you'll stop this clip for a second, like I thought last year, Georgia's defense, after that Alabama game, the secondary got afraid of getting beat deep. And so there was always space underneath the defense in zone coverage. And that's why that Mississippi State game was such a struggle, because the ball was snapped and these guys that are playing the short depth of the zone, they're all of a sudden given 12, 15 yards between them and the line of scrimmage. And that's just way too much. And any quarterback that's halfway decent is going to be able to just pick that apart and take little chunks down the field. And that's what happened in that game. And so, I mean, I see that as a weakness in the entire secondary, not just Bullard or Ringo or Kimber. Something I think needs to be translated there from the secondary coaching to the defensive back unit, because it's kind of a pattern that goes back to last year. I mean, we know Adai is a great secondary coach, so I'm sure that'll get addressed over the fall. But yeah, sorry, that was my little soapbox.
No, it's good. It's good. Are you saying that Kirby can't develop? Sorry, no, don't go there. Don't go there. Don't go there. Yeah. All right, let's go. Let's see here.
Yeah, so
we're back on still on Bullard on 22 at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah. So he's going to do a good job of recognizing the underthrow. He just gets a bit too excited and goes for that pick, but
not as excited as Stetson Bennett was.
Right, I know, right? Yeah, he overplays it a little bit, but it's like he's in the right position.
He knew he had somebody over the top too, so he was playing underneath. Yeah. So
you'll live with that.
Yeah,
like, that's fine. He'll get better at that. And then here he does a really good job on Darnell. And I say that because it's a 3rd and 17, and he plays him a little loose, but he doesn't play him too loose. And he's right in the right position to make a hit and bring him down when he catches the ball. And
that's a good tackle. I mean, when you can make this tackle on Darnell, I mean, that's a dog bone.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, because if he doesn't make that tackle, he's getting maybe a first down.
Yeah, totally. And then again, we're going to see him this last clip. He gets in on a gang tackle, but he puts a pretty good lick on Dajon Edwards on the sideline down here on the bottom. And that's not easy to do.
Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Let's go.
Yeah. So I was kind of impressed, like, with him. I honestly think that the way he plays the run, he could be a decent candidate to get some snaps at star at some point. Just because he kind of has that body to come up and help in run support, but also has enough coverage skills to stick with a second and third wide receiver. So, yeah.
All right. I guess we're going to talk about Lavasa Carroll, who is a running back, high 4-star running back recruit that's playing defensive back for Georgia, and see how it goes. And you pulled out some plays from him. Let me cue him up here to off air. Carroll 1. There we go. Let's go.
All right, cool. So yeah, he's going to stick to his man here. But he kind of shows his inexperience. He's at the bottom of the screen. He doesn't realize that Vandegrift has left the pocket. Oh, wait, that's Bullard. I'm sorry.
Is that Bullard?
My bad. Yeah, I probably just mislabeled that. Anyways, all right, here we go. So, good No, he's standing on the sideline. I don't know.
Let's see this one. We got like
Sure.
30 plays from a 115 play.
Yeah,
bear with us. Yep. That's Carroll, right?
Okay. Yeah. So so I'm sorry, play that again, because he actually does. It looks like he's way off there, but he actually does a pretty good job if you watch this closely. Darnell Washington basically just commits like a pretty egregious offensive pass interference on this play and forearm shivers him out of the way. But like he's there with Darnell when he goes into his break to the sideline, and in a game, you see how he like Darnell just like shrugs him off. In a game, that's probably going to be called, especially if it's a catch. So I thought that was a decent job of him in coverage. And then we're going to see him do a really good job in zone here. I thought this was his best play of the day. He's going to read Vandegrift's eyes and realize that he's locked in deep, and he gets back and plays the receiver and also like tabletops his ass, puts him head over heels. But I mean, he's playing zone here, and it's not his responsibility to be deep, and you're going to see him break out of his little area and move back to help out the safety, Jackson. I thought that was a phenomenal play by him. Good situational awareness. And that's what we're talking about with some of these other guys, where they're just standing in a place with no wide receiver within 30 yards. You got to get into the play. And he did.
All right. So we got Brini. You want to go right into Brini now?
Yeah. So Brini, we know, played in the Peach Bowl, struggled in the first quarter and a half, and then played really well down the stretch of that game. Here he does a good job on run support. He gets in there and sticks his nose, number 36 in black. I think that Brini is very good on the run. He struggles in the zone, and this next play, you're going to see why. And again, like, he's playing zone here, and Kirby said Georgia has to get better at it, and he's just not nearly wide enough here with his depth. You see how Mitchell is way up here at the top of the screen. Brini is kind of lined up in the slot, and like there should be more spacing between him and Channing Tindall, number 41, and he's just kind of given up that entire, that basically from the hash over is now open.
Yeah, he looked like he and Tindall are doing
yards
on the same duty there, and clearly that's Brini's got to take the outside guy a little bit more than he shaded inside too much.
Right, exactly. So I mean that was not the greatest play by him. And then here, honestly, he's going to get kind of owned here by Kyrus. In addition to getting the flag, he's going to give up the catch. And he sees Jackson coming at him, and he waits too long to get out of the back pedal and get into phase with Jackson. And so at that point, he's panicked, and he knows he's beat, and so he plays his man instead of playing the ball. But you're going to, like, Jackson's blown by him, and at this point, all he can do to get back in the play is, tackle Kyrus. But
and if you're going to make that penalty, you got to make it at least 15 yards and not the catch.
Right, exactly. And I like, my concern with him is that I think against a team like Cincinnati, he's fast enough to stay with their third wide receiver, which is who the star is going to be lined up on. But like at star, Georgia really needs a guy with like the true slot corner kind of skills, because you look at the teams that are winning national titles and that Georgia's going to have to beat. You've got Alabama from last year. You got LSU from 2019. Like those types of offenses, the first and second receivers are really good, but like where things break down and you get beat is with with Terrace Marshall, or some of these guys are the third receiver with like Mechie at Alabama last year. Those guys are good and they're fast and they've got a lot of ability. And in the Kirby Smart defense, a lot of times the guy playing star he's a tweener between like a linebacker and a safety. And we need these guys to be able to run more like 4-4 instead of more like 4-5 or 4-6 if they're going to be able to cover that third wide receiver in the games that Georgia's going to have to win to get to where they want to go. So
Yep.
That's my soapbox.
Your soapbox is what we're here for, brother. And I mean, you watch these plays. I mean, every time I tune, I mean, I'm just kind of along for the ride. I know a lot of people comment on what we love our podcast listeners, but this is the tape that you're watching. So I mean, it's just amazing that you went through this game and literally poured through it with a. All right, we got one play from William Poole. We had Major Burns on our list, but clearly that the situation's changed since we started our break. Yeah, what you got?
That play you just showed.
Yeah.
That last Bernie play. I do want to give him credit here because he does a really good job in coverage, and it kind of forces this little dump off here from JT. He's at the bottom of the screen on number 23, and he stays in position the entire time, kind of, works that angle, and he's in a spot. JT looks over there and realizes that, like, if he throws it, there's a decent chance Bernie can undercut that route and make a play on the ball. So I thought that was a better job by him in coverage. I do want to give him, some credit.
Thank you. You might be watching. You never know. All right.
You never know.
All right, here's the William Poole play.
Yeah,
that's right. We went deep. We're in William Poole territory.
We're in William. Look at that play, though, by William Poole.
Come on.
He knew where the ball was going. Unfortunately, he knew where the ball was going the entire play. He is standing there. He sees it happening. He knows what's about to unfold.
No back. He's playing off, but he didn't backpedal, so he knows exactly.
But he left so much cushion that he broke too late to, it ends up as a completion instead of a pass breakup or an interception, and that's disappointing from a senior. I mean, I'm sorry, it is. If he was
give him hell, Graham.
I'm not. I love all these kids. I want the best for them. I appreciate what they do for the University of Georgia. They work a full-time job, in my opinion. They should be getting paid. But that's one of those situations where that's the type of play that gets you noticed, right? You know where the ball is going. You're there. You're in the right position. You see it happening, and that little difference between waiting for the ball to be in the air to break and breaking early and taking it back for a pick six. That's the margins.
That was an unsuccessful play. 2nd and 12 kept him under 70% of the yards to gain on 2nd down. So I think, there's some good, some bad, just like everything in our secondary. There was good and there was bad, He kept it in front.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah. That's totally fair.
Graham, seriously, I just got to say thanks. I mean, I'm going to go back and watch this and listen to it. I mean, we know the players, we know what they can do, we know what they need to improve on, and this is why we're here. We're breaking down the G-Day game, and we're gonna milk this son of a bitch as long as we can because it's a long
that's all we
time. That's all we got. So thank you guys for tuning in, retweeting, liking, and I think we're all jonesing for it. But so that's our defensive back play. We're gonna go back through all the skill position players and all of it. So, but what else you want to add in this Sunday evening here that we need to talk about?
I mean, I think, with the secondary in general, I didn't highlight Scene or Christopher Smith because I feel like they're known commodities and for the most part they're in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, we got into that on the instant analysis we did after G-Day as well.
Yeah, and I mean, one thing I will say is the Adam Anderson experiment at Star. I'm not a football coach. It's not my job to make those decisions. But personally, I don't think that's the move. I think if you have a young secondary, the best way to help them is to let them cover for as little amount of time as possible. And Adam Anderson is your best pass rusher, and he's a guy that can make the quarterback get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds instead of 4.5 seconds. And that's probably the difference for some of these guys between a touchdown and an incompletion. And so I think that Georgia, the thing that gives me hope about the secondary is that front seven is really, really good.
Yeah, they're going to get after the quarterbacks.
Yeah, and I mean, especially those interior linemen, they're very good. And I don't think that Georgia is going to be in a position very often where they need to play Scene or Smith too far down near the line of scrimmage and bring those guys in the box and have them help out and run support, because I think the linebackers and the D-line can handle that. So The question that I have really like, and it depends on some of this transfer stuff and all that, but with Tyke Smith coming in, we know that, I think the rumor, the speculation is that like he's coming in to play star, and that might be the perfect spot for him. But I almost wonder a little bit, like, does he go to free safety and Christopher Smith comes down and he becomes one of the starting defensive backs, because he's got the best cover skills of anybody on the team. And I think that like the star position, Georgia just has more guys with the body type to fit that position right now. And we don't have like I think that Ringo could play star really, really well at his size. And I think Speed is a corner, but like, he's again another one of those big bodies that would probably do pretty well in run support. So I'm just interested to see how it all shakes out. The thing I do believe is that like Kirby Smart, Dan Lanning have earned the benefit of the doubt on how they're gonna roll into the Clemson game with this. I think that the first half of the Clemson game, you might see some busts and some ugly things, but historically they're very good at making second half adjustments. And I think, it's going to be interesting with Jamil Adai, just because he coached a defense at West Virginia last year that gave up 141 pass yards a game in Power 5 college football. Yeah, number one pass defense in the country. And so it's like maybe he gets his hands on these guys and just techniques the shit out of them, and they look totally different.
I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but Graham's taking the first half over in the Clemson game. There it was a little
taking the over,
second half under.
Yeah, I'm taking the over in every game until further notice. But yeah, I mean, I think that like if you're a Georgia fan, there can be some excitement. Sort of, we're entering like
tons of talent there. They just got to figure out where everybody's going to play and fill in, some veteran gaps, and then just go play ball. I think that's what I love about it. I mean, these guys are defensive, coaches and gurus, and they're going to get after it, just like, and they're going to teach their coach the players to get after it. So it may be a bend don't break a little bit possibly, but there's plenty of talent there that's gonna show through. So you picked them apart pretty good, but let's not. We're looking up. We're going to be fine.
Right. Totally. Yeah. I mean, I also think that, in the segment of like bold predictions, I would say Nyland Green's not on campus yet. And like his high school film is really, really impressive. I mean, that's hard to, right. It's high school film, but I do think like, I honestly think that he might come in and be in the rotation as a contributor kind of from day one, just because he has the right skill set that Georgia needs to fill these holes right now. But if you're a Georgia fan, like I think what you're doing this summer and even early fall is like watching the transfer portal and
just seeing which guys are going to fill it in. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that the way things are right now, like when I'll put it this way, like I just think there's probably dominoes that maybe the staff knows are going to fall that we don't know about yet. Just because with the way things are, like we are basically in free agency, and all it takes is some kid's high school coach calling up Kirby Smart and being like, "Do you guys want this guy?" And I mean, not that Kirby Smart would meddle in anyone's shit or anything like that, because that's against the rules. And he would never do that because he follows all the rules. But I think that, like we said at the start of the show, I think there's going to be a lot of guys in that starting secondary or in the secondary rotation whose names we don't know yet. And hopefully we'll have some cool transfer film to break down this summer. That would be fun.
All right. If you'll let me, I want to plug your really awesome memoriam of Daniel Hutchins that you wrote for Dawg Sports. It was really good. I mean, clearly his words and music meant a lot to you and a lot of people. And I just wanted to, I'm going to show the graphic here on the screen, and now's your chance to sort of kind of talk a little bit. First off, everybody go to dogsports.com and read it. It's on the lead story today, and it'll probably be the lead story tomorrow. And if not, you can find it on Twitter. It's really good.
Yeah. I mean, those of you that know me know that like I have been a big fan of, kind of jam band type of musical scene for a long time, and that was one of the reasons I really wanted to come to Athens for college, was like that Widespread Panic connection and all that. And those guys in Widespread Panic have said themselves that Daniel and his friend, his bandmate and co-founder of Bloodkin, Eric, were their greatest inspiration. And I heard, some stuff starting to leak out about his passing yesterday, and like I went to Google it because I just knew there was going to be like all these great articles, and there was nothing out there, and that really kind of bothered me because I felt like he was just an extremely talented and prolific musician. I mean, you're talking a guy that like literally wrote like 800 songs, and so yeah, I wanted to just sort of share my thoughts. And within that, you kind of fall into the nostalgia of college years, and being a young dumb kid in Athens, Georgia is a really good thing and a fun thing to be. But yeah, I mean, really more than anything, just thank you to Daniel for all of the wonderful music that he's given us. And I mean, I think that there's a lot of people that know about the Athens music scene, and talk about REM and the B-52s and the Drive-By Truckers and Widespread Panic and a lot of great bands. And I think there's so many other phenomenal bands that oftentimes people don't know about, or maybe don't talk about enough, that are a big part of the reason why the environment exists in the town the way it does, to produce some of these bands that everyone knows by name. So yeah, I mean, Athens, Georgia, just there's so much great music, and it's easy to sort of maybe have someone there that's really talented that doesn't always get as much due as they deserve.
As I read the article, I mean, and you talked about the Athens music scene, and it's like it's really is a community, and to have, like you said, Widespread, this is your favorite band's favorite band. So I think that was about as poignant as you can make it. So with that, we're gonna close it down, but please go read that, retweet this, subscribe on YouTube, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. And we enjoy being a part of a different community of Georgia fans talking football, but Athens has got a lot to offer outside of not only university, the football program, but the community and all the great things. And the music is definitely a big part of it. So with that, I'm just going to put up, I thought, one of the coolest lines you had here from Daniel, and we'll just take it out with this.
Right on. Thank you, Josh. Thanks for all your hard work on all this. And everyone go follow him at Dawg_stats.
Go Dogs.